Hello, my name is Natalie Bungay and I'm from the British Pest Control Association. Today we're going to be talking about fleas. Some of us may have experienced them in our homes or businesses. Certainly those who have got pets may have also experienced it. So I think it would be really helpful today to talk a bit about fleas. We can learn a bit about them and then find out what we can do to get rid of them from our home or business. There are two main ways that you may experience a flea infestation. The first one is that your pet unfortunately picks it up. This can be, you might be out on a walk with them and they've passed an animal den and picked up a few fleas and then brought them home. The other way that it can happen is sometimes we have reports that a flea infestation has occurred with no animals at all within the environment. And how this can happen is if, say for example, a previous tenant of a property did have some animals with some fleas and then they left that property, there might be some eggs and larvae that are left over in the cracks and crevices, and these eggs and larvae can lay dormant for quite a while. To understand flea infestations, I think it's really useful that we have a look at the life cycle of a flea. So you have 4 stages. We call it a complete metamorphosis. And what happens is the adult flea will lay an egg. They will only do this once they've had a blood meal, however, and that's because they need the certain enzymes to be able to produce that viable egg. Once that egg has been laid, which is normally on the host animal, it might be in cracks and crevices around your home, but usually quite close to the bedding if it's not within the animal itself. This egg will take about 2 to 3 weeks for it to hatch out into a larvae. Some of us might see them as maggots, but the proper name for it is a larvae. This larvae will busy itself feeding on sort of human skin and debris and also the droppings of the adult flea. This larvae will then pupate, so it goes into a little cocoon, and this also lasts for about 3 weeks. It depends on the environment. If it's particularly cold, it might take a bit longer, and then as soon as they sense the host animal or person coming nearby through vibration, the adult flea will then hatch out and jump onto the host. There are 3 main reasons why we need to control fleas. The first one, and I think the one that comes to mind, is that it can be very distressing psychologically. The fact you have got an insect feeding from your blood can certainly cause some distress. The second reason is from the physical irritation. When those fleas bite you, it will certainly be quite itchy. The third reason is that if they are living on your pets, it can be very uncomfortable for them. If you have a flea infestation, it's important to know that most of the time it won't go away on its own. But an interesting fact actually is that the most common flea that we have in the UK is the cat flea. The cat flea will feed from cats, of course, but it will also feed from dogs. Now, if this host animal is not present in the environment, the flea will not be able to feed on viable blood. Yes, they will feed from humans, absolutely, but that blood will not give them the enzymes they need to produce viable eggs. So eventually, if you were to leave it for long enough, the fleas would die away naturally, but this could take some time, so I don't recommend you just waiting. I've mentioned cat flea. We do also have a dog flea in the UK, and very, very rare we have a human flea. But whichever flea you may have within the property, it's important that you do get rid of them. If you are a pet owner, then just day-to-day things like making sure you vacuum regularly, you wash your pet's bedding regularly as well. And also within your garden, just keep it sort of tidy, make sure no other wild animals are looking to actually live or harbour within your garden, because like I said before, they can bring some fleas with them that might unfortunately affect your own pet. Fleas can be tricky to control sometimes. One of the reasons might be that that particular population has got resistance to some of the household insecticides that you might be able to buy. Another reason is that they're pretty small, so they can be very hard to detect and actually know where they're coming from. And you really do need to know where they've originated from to deal with the problem. If you do have pets, obviously this could have been the root cause. However, if you, for example, have a business and you have a flea infestation and there's no animals within that environment, you really may struggle on figuring out where those fleas have come from. So once we've found the root cause of the flea infestation and we've dealt with that, it's really important that we then deal with the local environment where there may be a residual population of fleas left over. The way that we can do that is firstly monitor, so find out where these fleas are. You can do it with sticky traps, a professional can come in and put some traps down for you also. And then once we've found where they are, we can use an insecticide to kill off the adults. Really important to remember that insecticide won't penetrate or affect eggs and also the pupae. So before we do this insecticide treatment, we have to do some real vacuuming and good housekeeping. Another really important thing to remember is once we've done this vacuuming and we've removed those eggs and that pupae, remember they're going to remain within your vacuum, so make sure you get it emptied and cleaned out properly. We strongly advise that you don't try to attempt to treat a flea infestation yourself. The reason is because of the difficulties that we've discussed, and also you want to make sure that it's all done very safely. If you were to call out a professional pest controller, one of the first things they would do is to establish how big the infestation is that you've got. So you might call them and say that you have a flea infestation, but it is a legal requirement for that pest controller to actually establish that there definitely is a flea infestation, and they will normally do this with monitoring traps. It'll be a non-toxic sticky pad with a hot light above it which will draw the fleas in, and this may take a few days just to monitor it for a little while. When you do contact a professional pest management company, the first thing that they will do is they need to establish the root cause of the infestation. Once this has been established, then they can decide on the best treatment strategy. Whichever treatment strategy they decide to use, they'll always make sure they're safe. And sometimes, if insecticides are used, there might be protective equipment that they may have to wear. And after the treatment, your pest management professional will leave you with an information sheet telling you exactly what they've done. A pest management professional will always know how to treat your flea infestation quickly, but certainly safely. To find a professional pest management company to deal with your flea infestation, you can use the BPCA Find a Pest Controller tool. All you need to do is enter your postcode, and then you'll have a list of pest controllers in your local area. And remember, these pest control technicians, they're qualified, trusted and audited by BPCA.
For more information about fleas, please visit bpca.org.uk/fleas. If you need a pest management company, then find a local member at bpca.org.uk/find. Alternatively, you can call our 24/7 helpline on 01332 294 288.